comrades, welcome to the High Low Hive with Jez. That's me, I'm Jez, and this is my channel where I talk about all the stuff I'm getting into. This episode is going to be the first yarn show on my channel. I am a big time knitter, and I didn't want to combine my floss tube with my yarn show. So here we are. If you're trying to find me online, I am Jez_high_low on Instagram, and I am at Little Jezzy on Twitter. But just a forewarning, if you follow me on Twitter, I am a raging leftist, and you might not like some of my posts if you are not also a leftist. Okay, so let's see, a little bit about myself. I am a mom of two. I am a homeschooler before it was required in the world of COVID-19. We live on the Kitsap Peninsula in Washington State. It's a quick ferry ride to get to Seattle from where we are. So, and I have a husband and two dogs. And I knit a lot. I've been knitting since 2002. So it's been a while. So I guess we'll just get started and stop this like lingering here in the beginning. I always find it very difficult to like transition into new things. So it's going to be very abrupt. Okay, so, hey, I finished a few things recently. And one of them I am wearing. This is the Love Note sweater by Tin Can Knits. Let me back up. Here we go. And I knit this in Barocco Makita. Not Barocco, I'm sorry. Malabrigo Makita, and I held it doubled with Barocco Andean Mist, which is a very fine alpaca, fuzzy, kind of gives you that mohair effect without using mohair, because I cannot tolerate mohair. I finished this a few weeks ago, so it's still new enough that I thought I could share it here on the podcast. On the yarn show. I loved this. It was so fast because you knit it on like size 10 needles. I need to stop doing this. You knit it on like size 10 needles. So this lace goes by so fast. Let's get a close-up of the lace. Isn't it so? And it was so easy. I decided for the cuffs to, instead of hold the Makita with the Barocco like I did up here, I held the Makita with itself, so you get a sense of what that looks like. And I did that on all of the ribby bits. I love it. It's so soft, so fuzzy. I just I snuggle up in it, and I really like this length of sleeve, 3/4, whatever, because they don't get into anything. I also love sleeves that like hang beyond my fingertips. So really, I just like sweaters. That's what you're gonna learn in this episode, because I have a lot of sweaters to show. Oh my gosh. But I have another sweater finished that I should probably show first. And this one I finished just a few days ago. I started knitting the Featherweight Cardigan by Hannah Fettig. So I used all the stitch counts for that and the shaping for that. But then I kind of cropped it shorter. And when I did my ribbing, I decided to do kind of a all-in-one, all-around 2x2 rib. And I did some mitering, and this is also folded over, so increased here and then decreased back, and then joined it with itself. So this is like a tube happening here, which gives it a really nice edge, I think. Now, this is my solution to having 1,000 mini skeins in my house. I thought I was gonna pick the best and brightest, literally brightest, mini skeins that I had and combine them into a sweater. So I did just random, picked at random. The sleeves are different from each other. And I knit 6 rows per color. Yes, there were a lot of ends to weave in, and yes, I did it. I weaved them all in. Just a simple 2x2 bind off. These are not doubled like the rest of the collar, but oh, it's so cute. And I'm not gonna put it on because, you know, I've already got a bulky sweater on underneath it, but it turned out really cute. If you wanna see a picture of me wearing it, you can go to my Instagram, which I mentioned in the beginning is jazz_high_low. It's really, really nice. I like it. And it smells like eucalyptus, which I also love. Maybe next time I record, I'll wear this so you can see it. So that's 2 FOs. And that's all my FOs. I said that like I had more, right? But no, I just have just 2, only 2 sweaters. But I do have a hoe, which is a half-finished object. Actually, I have 2 hoes. I will show you my first one. This is living in a hand-woven bag by Nanette Wake. I bought it at Fiber Fusion Northwest, which is a somewhat local fiber fair that goes on in these parts of the world. I knit a sock. These are a bit of an adventure because I have attempted to knit socks using this stitch pattern before. This is the bee stitch, which is hands down my favorite stitch pattern in the world. Like, there's nothing better than some bee stitch, if you ask Jess. Like, this is it for me. But it stretches a lot. And so I've cast on socks before using my typical 2.25 mil DPNs, and it just doesn't work. It's way too big. So I actually knit these on size 2 mil, which is a US 0, and I decreased the number of stitches. So normally I do a 64 stitch count, 64 stitch sock. But what I did on this, I knit them toe up. Once I got my 64 stitches, on the top 2 needles, because I use DPNs, if you're using magic loop or whatever, you would do it on the top needle, whatever your instep is resting on. Does that make sense? My first 2 needles, and I decreased 2 stitches. So on top I had 30 stitches, and on the bottom I had the typical 32. And I did that. And at this point I put in a stitch marker and kept going, joined around, did a few rows of stockinette on the back, and then I decreased 2 more stitches before starting the bee stitch on the leg. So I then had a 60 stitch sock on size 0, 2.0 mil needles. However, I increased to 64 after that and did 1 by 1 rib. And I did a bobbly bind off, which is quite cute. And an afterthought heel. I like afterthought heels. They're my favorite because you don't get holes happening. I like to use Kirby Werby. Kirby Werby yarns, heel, I don't know, look it up. But yes, so I finished one sock. Oh, this yarn is Intrepid Otter, which I bought at the same fiber festival. So I thought it's appropriate to put them in the same bag. Yeah. Very cute. I like her yarn. I've bought from her before. I have 2 or 3 skeins. Oh, and I did start the second sock. So cute. The toe that I'm using is by Jules. I don't remember her last name, but she is So Sweet Violet. She has a podcast and a lot of cute patterns. And this is her beanie toe, which was included in her Soul Sisters sock pattern. And I think probably her other patterns too, but that's the one I have, so. And I really like that toe. I use it a lot for toe-up socks. So, that's one hoe. Hoe number 2 is this. It's a glove. These gloves are called, what are they called? I wrote it down. Chamrouse gloves by Nanette Blanchard. Now, I knit these using a size 0, and I don't think I should have, because it is a little bit snug. And it's snug around this area, despite me adding some gusseting to the pattern that wasn't included. But I like these. They come up quite far. And the yarn is Nomadic Yarns Yuletide, which is one of her Christmas colorways. I haven't blocked it. I did wash it and lay it flat, but I wonder if I were to like get a blocker, a glove blocker, maybe it would fit a little more nicely. I don't know, but because of that, I do not have much done on the second one because I'm not as excited about it as I was when I started it. So I have just barely any progress. But it is pretty, and it would go really nicely with all of my coats. I have a green North Face windbreaker that I wear a lot, and then I have a camel colored kind of fuzzy coat that I wear a lot, and then I also have a pink Woolworth canvas coat. That was my mom's from high school. So that thing is as old as me. I am 36. And that baby is still trucking. I did dye it pink. It was yellow and very stained and was unable to be cleaned. And I just put some Rit dye in the washing machine with it one day and turned it pink, and I love it. I asked my mom's permission because, you know, that jacket was her baby and I'm her baby. So full circle. Things come full circle. Okay, so those are my hoes. So we talked about my FOs, we talked about my hoes. Now let's talk about whips. I have a lot of sweaters, And actually I forgot to bring one of them over here. So I'm not gonna show that one because I'm not gonna get up. So skip number 1. Second sweater is a lovely pattern called the Spellman sweater, inspired by Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This is by Tristan Molina, who is half of the Yarn Girl Cafe podcast? I don't remember. Anyway, it's got this cute bobbly, cabley sleeve. And I knit one sleeve because sleeves are the bane of my existence. But right now I'm knitting the body. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's a cropped sweater, but it hits natural waist. It's very vintagey. It kind of like tucks in here and fits really nice. All the ones I've seen look really, really nice. And it looks good on a lot of body types, I think. So that is a plus. I'm using this yarn that I dyed myself. I dye yarn. I have a shop, Sad Sack Dye Works. Sorry, my phone got wacky. Sad Sack Dye Works, but I have not dyed in a really long time. So, but this is a cashmere merino nylon blend that I dyed up, and I'm holding it together with this very fuzzy and nice Barocco Andean mist. I love how they look different. Like if this on its own and this looks so different from this. This is the same as the fuzzy yarn in this sweater. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming along. I'm just doing stockinette right now, so I have pretty much abandoned it. I have not touched it in a really long time. I really lost my knitting mojo for a while there. I just did not feel like knitting at all. It happens, you know, but I highly recommend that pattern. It's very cute. Next sweater. What's going on with my hair? Next sweater. I am knitting the Cirrie cardigan by Linnea Oman. How to hold this? How can I hold this? Ugh. Lovely. Okay, so anyway, you see, there's the stitch pattern on there. Very cute. And this is in another Sad Sack Dye Works. It's all bunched up. It's hard to spread it out because it's like all bunched up on the needles, but there it is. This is a yak blend yarn that I dyed in this really pretty raspberry-ish color. It's being knit on US 7s. So, yay, pretty. Come on, Jess. Hold it right. Oh my god, I'm bad at this. I'm bad at this. So I've separated the sleeves. I'm now just knitting, again, stockinette for the body. And I haven't touched it in a while, but it's out in the living room in my whip basket. So that means it will get finished. I have it in this cute bag. By Mrs. Brown. With lots of pins on it, because I like pins. Okay, that is the Cirrie cardigan. Next one. Last sweater that I'm going to show is one that I just started. It's living in this really cute bag by On Jordan Creek. This is onjordancreek.com. I love this bag. It's one of my favorites. It has a really sturdy handle. And inside it has a pretty batik, tie-dye-ish looking fabric. But this is the Madewell cardigan by Joji Locatelli. And I'm using more Sad Sack Dye Works. This is Bacchanalia, and this is Hestia. However, again, don't try to buy it because my shop is empty. But I have been knitting with my yarn, and it really does make me want to dye again. And it might happen this summer. I might start up again because I almost want to start now, but the problem with doing it now is that you need masks. And you know who else need masks right now? Our healthcare professionals, our grocery store workers, you know? So I would feel like such an asshole if I bought masks right now to use for my dye business that I just do for fun. So that will be on hold until this shortage and this silly coronavirus passes. Anyway, that's all just to say that I'm using this yarn in my Madewell cardigan. It's a top-down raglan sleeved cardigan. I did make a modification. I'm knitting I think the 38 bust or the 36. I don't know. But on the fronts and on the back, I'm doing bee stitch in 2 colors. Did I tell you I love bee stitch? Because I love bee stitch. And the sleeves are just stockinette. And I like how it has like a different look on the sleeves because it's stockinette. And it's slightly different here because of the bee stitch. I love that texture. Love it. Love bees, okay? I have bee tattoos on my body. I want to be a beekeeper. Like, oh, love bees. So of course I love bee stitch. I had to go down to a size 3, US 3, which is, doesn't have the millimeter measurement on there, so I can't tell you that. But this has been really fun to work on, and I just started it yesterday or the day before. I think yesterday. Time just is like a mess. Like, I don't know what day it is half the time anymore. So that's that. Very, very fun sweater. Oh, and if you follow me on Instagram, and if you have followed me on Instagram for a while, and I mean a while, you might recognize that color combination because it was being knit into my Shusui shrug. Which I thought would be cute cropped, and so I bound it off way too early, and then it looked stupid on me, and I said, oh, I'll finish it later, I'm mad at it, go in timeout. And yeah, I just finally decided that screw it, I'm gonna save the yarn, I'm gonna cannibalize this sweater, or shrug. Screw it, get out of my face. I'm gonna make something that I know I'm gonna like and wear. Hence the Madewell. So, those are my sweaters that I'm gonna show. Let's talk blankets. I recently reignited my love of crochet blankets. I have one that has been in progress for a very long time, and I recently put some work into it. It is just a granny stripe blanket. I'm not going to unfold the whole thing, but this is how far it is. Well, maybe I will. Just so you get a sense. That is my progress. And I'm using mini skeins and a crochet hook. This is a USF crochet hook. This is the Luca needles. Luca, they make the driftwood interchangeable needles, etc. But they also make crochet hooks, and they're very nice. I like them. I'm using a magic cake or ball. And I did do the magic knots for this, and I did magic knots, you know, early on, but I've recently decided I don't like it. I don't like those at all. So I switched to a Russian join, and I like that much more. And so what I'm doing is I'm still using the sequence that's in here, but once I get to a new color, as you can see, I've cut it, and I'm going to join this next time I start working. I'm gonna just do a quick Russian join and keep going that way. And that way I still have no ends that I need to weave in. Yay, party party. So that's my one crochet blanket. I started another crochet blanket because I'm crazy. This is, I know I saw a couple people doing a linen stitch crochet. So it's a single crochet, chain one, single crochet. And then on the next row you stagger it so that you're single crocheting into your chain one and then chaining, blah, 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 blah. You know, you get it. I'm using the same hook, USF. This one is not as big, not as wide, but I love it. And I think it's a different enough look that I'm not gonna get. I feel it's not too much like granny, you know, like too much granny square happening, because this is linen stitch, it's not granny. But I am thinking this one, I'm going to be paying more attention to my color palette. I'm thinking pinks and yellows and purples in this one. And maybe some oranges, because there's already orange in here, but yes, I love it. I love it. It's so fun. So fun. Blanket number 3 is being knit. It's not a crochet blanket. Hexapuffs. Now I finished this a long time ago. This is, I probably finished this last year or maybe even the year before. I like putting together little bits like this, and then at the end I'll kind of arrange them and do it. But I did this cute, I did this on Yule, the year I made it. I think it was 2 years ago. So I put a cute little Yule tree on there. I have a few other ones from other witchy Sabbat days. I, for a while, was gonna do one for each holiday on the Wheel of the Year, so there's 8 holidays in the Wheel of the Year. So far I have Yule and Imbolg, which I did a little, like, spark. I wish I had it. I don't have it. I don't know where it is, but I lost it. I have a bunch more Hexapuffs somewhere. Anyway, that's all to say that I have here a few more. I have 4 finished puffies here, and I just tie them to my basket. And I think they're cute. So, oh wait, I have one more blanket. I have a mitered blanket that I've been working on. So I'm doing a fun color with this, I think this is Cascade Heritage. And I have a few balls of this. But yes, my blankets kind of live in this cute little basket. So those are all my blankets. Yay! That's a lot. That's a lot. But I did want to mention one more thing. I don't only knit and crochet, I also enjoy spinning, which I have not been able to do recently. But another thing that I've discovered that I love to do is called nålbinding. And this is a Viking, it's a Viking craft, I guess you could say, where you use a needle and a length of yarn, preferably something that is feltable, and you basically make loops using a needle such as this. So this is a horn needle with a big eye on it, and you can make a thing like this. So I started this. This is Malabrigo Mecca in the Anniversario colorway. And the stitch I used here is called Mammon Stitch. I'll give you a close-up of how it looks. And I started by doing a Mobius shaping. So that's how this, so ignore this line here. I was knitting around and around in a Mobius here. So there's actually a fold here. It's folded up, and that's how you get that. And then I picked up around the bottom and kind of increased. And I reached the end of my yarn here, and I would have done more on it, except that I have to wind a new ball. So this is what one ball of Mecca will get you in Mammon Stitch for a cowl. But let's do this real quick. So I'm doing this, and I'm just increasing a bunch. I'm gonna, so it can go over my shoulders, I think. That's my goal. I love it. Malabrigo Mecca is very nice. Very, very nice. So that is one nålbinding project that I'm doing. And what's cool about nålbinding is that there really aren't patterns. Like, there are, but it's not like with knitting or crochet. A lot of people, it seems like you just kind of wing it. Like, you get an idea and you just go for it. And I like that. It's very, I don't want to say rugged. It does have a more rugged feel to it. But it can also be very delicate. You could use fine yarns, you could use thick yarns, whatever. But I like it. I like it. I don't know. So my other project is actually a pullover. And like I said, there aren't really patterns, so I just kind of cast on as many stitches as I thought I needed to fit over my head. And then I counted around, you know, how much I wanted for my sleeves, how much I wanted for my back and my front, and marked them. And I'm just doing a raglan shaping, similar to knitting. Now this stitch, it's kind of hard to see. This is very rustic looking. This is Malabrigo. No, it is not Malabrigo. God. This is Noro-Crayon. And the stitch I'm using is called Delarna. Ugh, it's so hard to see. It has kind of a herringbone look to it. This yarn is being repurposed. This is my needle. This is a really nice needle. I love this one. It's Purple Heart wood. One of the first sweaters that I knit, not the first, but one of the first sweaters that I knit for myself was in this yarn. And I liked it, but I did not know how to purl correctly at that time. And so any row that was a purl row, all of my stitches were twisted, and it kind of made the sweater look weird. And I ripped it out, and so I had all these balls of yarn just like waiting for a project. And I was like, it's very rustic, I could do this. So There we go. It's slowly coming along. It's a raglan, so I've got all this to go, and then I'll join. There you go. These are living in a really fun bag. How metal is this sheep? I mean, for real. Look at that guy. Anyway, that's nålbinding. I love it. It's really fun. Okay, I think that's all that I have. Thank you for persevering through my rambling and trying to get back into the knitting podcast world here. Again, you can find me on Instagram. And yeah. Happy knitting. Stay sane. You know, within reason. I mean, no one wants to be completely sane. But, all right.